Supermassive Games is finishing up the third horror adventure in the Dark Pictures anthology this year, and while I was a little late to checking out Man of Medan, I'm fully hooked now. I want to play all of these games right when they come out, even if they can't quite live up to the fan favorite legacy of Until Dawn. From a ghost ship labyrinth in Man of Medan to a foggy witch town fever dream in Little Hope, there's always something out there slinking around in this spooky, character choice driven series. In the next standalone Dark Pictures game, House of Ashes will be stalked by an inhuman enemy threat in a buried temple. Surprisingly, the game is set in Iraq in 2003. The United States is looking for chemical weapons, and well, this can only end badly for everyone involved. But while the conflict rages above ground, something ancient and more mystical stirs below. Just before the chaos of E3 2021, I was able to see a hands-off preview of House of Ashes, and I've got some impressions to share. Like the other Dark Pictures games, House of Ashes has some basis in a real-world fact or legend, but according to game director Will Doyle, they're always trying to find new ways to frighten players. Now, without going through House of Ashes' entire setup beat by beat, let's just say an earthquake has left our crew of survivors stranded and they're inside a temple. Originally, this temple was built for the gods in 2250 BC during the reign of the Akkadian Empire, but it's cursed. Should I also mention that the name Pazuzu popped up during the preview? Well, it did. In the modern era, our cast of characters for House of Ashes includes the CIA's Rachel King, who is played by the one and only Ashley Tisdale, as well as 2 Marines, a colonel, and an Iraqi officer. So there are once again 5 main playable protagonists to try and keep alive as they're forced through the grinder for our pure, over-the-top entertainment. One of the recurring themes driving the characters' choices this time will be whether to act like lone wolves or team up despite clear trust issues. And there's also the whole trying not to lose your mind underground angle. If you've seen movies like The Descent or As Above, So Below, you know the drill by now. Claustrophobic people don't always act rationally, especially when blood-starved beasts are trailing them. In one early story sequence, a Marine catches a glimpse of a monster and his partner doesn't hear him out, not even a little bit. I also saw a tense scene in which they scrambled to give a wounded soldier medical aid and shut him up before his screams alert the entire monster horde. Now, I didn't quite catch the fast-moving creature, but to me it looked vaguely humanoid. Again, The Descent was a major inspiration for this game. The creators also cited the classic movies Aliens and Predator and the Lovecraft novella At the Mountains of Madness. During the showcase, Supermassive reiterated that everyone can live and everyone can die. In Until Dawn, QuickTime events could immediately spell disaster for the poor teens, but these button-mashing prompts have gradually become more forgiving with each release in the Dark Pictures anthology. In House of Ashes, you'll be able to determine the speed of QTEs, and there are also 3 difficulty settings for more flexibility. One of the biggest changes I noticed with this game was the camera, which has moved even further away from the old fixed camera angles. You'll have full 360-degree control of your camera when you're out exploring the tunnels with your trusty flashlight. My hope is that House of Ashes can ratchet up the tension and dread of being hunted by something horrible, and actually stick with it all the way through. It's impossible to know for sure until we've seen the full story, but for what it's worth, Supermassive maintains that the threat is very real, and there's a whole nest of them. If you've played Little Hope, you'll be able to read between the lines. While I think that game had a better story setup, House of Ashes has the ingredients to surpass it with more primal, paranoia-inducing evil. Potentially. Either way, I've always had a great time handing off the controller in the movie night couch co-op mode, which feels like a tradition at this point. I'm in. I just wonder how many more Dark Pictures await us. Hopefully at least a couple more.